Turn my mic up. Cause I'm so scared. They got you straight shook, make you second guess, make you take a second look. If you listen to this, then you should have read my other book. You into spooky stuff, but you don't like scary stories? I'm paying to recruit like a mom named Lori. It's like Boy Meets World and I play Corey. Episode 15, telling ghost stories. Tony Merkel in this bitch and he ain't even worried. Straight shook. Straight shook. Straight shook.
Welcome to Earth.
Well, I hope you didn't think I forgot about you. All my paranormal enthusiasts out there. There wasn't a Straight Shook series leading up to Halloween this year. But baby, I got some stories for you. Welcome back to Straight Shook on the Rhetorical Sake. This is the 2020 bonus episode. In case you're not feeling like the holiday cheer or the holiday season and sucking on candy canes and buying needless gifts in this consumerist capitalistic society, you can listen to this. Because I'm not scared of the scary stuff. I like it. Dive into it. It embraced me, so I'm embracing it. And I know you guys enjoy it. So tune in. Here we go. Welcome back to Straight Shook on the Rhetorical Sake. Enjoy. It's never too late for Halloween. Ciao.
Still winter. It's probably late January, early February. And I'm sitting in the lobby, and it's close to the student center, and there's a computer there. And it's a standing desk, but it has a very high stool. I'm sitting on the stool, and in the corner of this lofted ceiling is a monitor. What is that? What's wrong? What's wrong? What was that? You may turn on the light? You okay? Oh no. I'm just pissed off my dog. I don't like that. Anyway. I'm sorry, buddy. City. Bravo.
Welcome to Earth.
Well, happy Halloween. I've been caught up in your dreams. You're lying to yourself and you have nobody else, so you listen to me. Happy Halloween. Never thought you'd see the same. You are all alone and nobody's on your phone, and you only find me. Well, happy Halloween.
Before we really dive right in, I just want to give everyone a reminder that my books, God Sent Dog and Chasing God Alcoholically, are available on Amazon and Kindle. These are little, less than 100-page paperback books that I share my story of struggle and strength and hope. And if you're looking for a cheap but powerful Christmas gift to give someone, this is perfect. I wrote it, I'm proud of it, and honestly, there's some big things on the horizon for these manuscripts. So get them while they're original and unique, from me to you. Merry Christmas, and once again remember, God Sent Dog, about the story of how my dog led me to sobriety the first time, and Chasing God Alcoholically, which is just a personal reflection on pursuing spirituality in early recovery and sobriety. Now, I'm not gonna lie. I've been in and out, up and down, sober, not sober. Who cares? I tried, and that's what it's all about. I'm not here to be perfect, and y'all know that. So here we go. We're back to the Rhetorical Sake. If you're looking for my books, they're on Amazon, or hit up my website, erhunter.live. Once again, that's erhunter.live. All right, let's get back to it. Ooh, I'm creeped out. Let's go.
Yo, I could write that for real. That could be like the next hit track. I'm telling you, all over the UK. Billboard's top 100s. It's everything that you fucking want. You hear me? In any case, yo, it's your boy, ER Hunter. Thank you so much for joining me once again on The Rhetorical Sake. I'm putting out a Halloween episode pretty late in the game. But if you are into the paranormal and into sketchy stuff like ghosts and just weird stories, aliens, being sensitive, experiences with other people where things are flying around and you can't identify the culprit, well, you've come to the right place because I'm your guy. In any case, make sure you subscribe, rate, review the show. Let's just knock this all out in the front half. God Sent Dog, my book about how my dog led me to sobriety. Not saying I stayed sober, but he led me there. That's the catch. And it's a pretty short book. It's a great read. I get a lot of feedback on it, and people actually really like it. I think because how brief it is actually very poignant. And then the other book is Chasing God Alcoholically, and that's just my personal reflection on pursuing spirituality in early recovery. Now, if you've been paying attention to the show, if you've been staying with me, if you've been following me, whatever, I don't care. To God be the glory. I hope you're doing all right. I hope you're doing better than all right. I hope you are doing unabashedly, unexpectedly, surprisingly well. Like overflowing with security and affluence. If not, that's all right. I'm right there with you. You just got to crank it out. It's like that last push-up. Like you're trying to do like 25 and you get to 20 and you're like gassed out. But, you know, we press through. In any case, I have got to address the fact that it's Halloween. If you're listening to this, you might hear some noise in the background. That's because the whole neighborhood is bustling during 2020 Halloween with their kids on trick-or-treating. And this is not a political show. I'm absorbing life as it comes to me. So I'm not going to give my opinion on how people live their lives because I'm not expecting you to do that to me. That's like expecting a straight person to understand why a homosexual sleeps with people of the same sex. Like, it's null and void. It doesn't matter. Are we going to be here for each other? Yes, I'm here for you. Please be here for me. The golden rule. I was in this room where I'm recording this about a month ago, and I was writing down something I did not think I would ever have to write down, or just not this soon in life at least, like maybe 50, 40, even 30, 20 years down the line. But no, I was writing the words I would say about my friend that died at his memorial service. But this wasn't a typical memorial service because it's the year 2020 and we have to go to funerals online. So I was preparing for a Zoom meeting, and my dog actually was not in this room, which is odd because usually he is right under me like he is right now, at my feet under the desk. And my aunt's dog was in this here room that we've transformed into a home office and studio and dressing room and whatever else we needed to be auxiliary gym for the dogs. The closet door just opened randomly. Like, you have to turn the knob. It's definitely latched. And her dog is just looking at it, Romeo, and doesn't budge, but he's staring in there. And it was so odd because it's never happened before. It has never happened before. Now, after that, I put something up against the door, and I guess she had to go in that closet. So right now, there's nothing in or pressing up against the closet door right now. So if that door pops open during this podcast, we know what's up. But I'm not scared of my friend, like, he's my guardian angel. Like, and if you knew Miotti, like, I'm actually, like, pretty impressed. Like, I fear nothing. Because if you see my guardian angel, he's ripped, he's crazy, like, he's bulky, he's just ideal. Like, if you wanted a bodyguard, that's what you get. So, as much as I miss him, to think of him as a spirit, an angel, being with me all the time, protecting me from those things I don't see coming, I can't see right in front of my own face with these physical eyes, that, my friends, like, that's my angel. So, I don't know. And I mean, it could have just been like some pillows pushing up against the door, which is totally plausible because I know a couple of days before I had gone in there. But I don't know, the timing of it, everything seemed peculiar. And the lights around this house, in particular, like in the middle of the night, I go to the restroom downstairs so I don't wake up people upstairs. And the light has been flickering. And I've recently heard on other podcasts that when lights flicker, it's either like a friend or a pet that has passed and they're trying to get your attention. The atheist, the scientist, the non, or maybe the skeptic is going to say that's an energy surge. And I would say touche, because why not? Why wouldn't it be an energy surge? But why wouldn't it be my friend? Which draws me to think about the times where I have not been alone. And there were other people to witness what I was witnessing, which was some pretty scary stuff. Forgive me if you've already heard this. So I encourage you, if you haven't already done so, to go back and look at other Str8 Shk episodes of this podcast, and you could get a feel of my experience and upbringing with the paranormal, the supernatural. And as much as I had grown up around the idea of it, the actualization didn't hit me until I was coming of age, and I was in Florence, Italy, and I came home. It was around 1 a.m., 1:30 a.m., and my room was one of the smallest rooms in the house of this old hotel that's about 5 stories tall, with a, you can go to the roof or whatever, I think. Well, there's many balconies and greenhouses and all this stuff. Like, it was like a clue board except times 6. And there was a basement, which is where we had our classes. And one of the rooms in the basement, and I'm repeating the story, forgive me if you've already heard this, but I want to preface that one of the rooms in the basement was named after a girl, Janet Leake, who showed up in Italy, not necessarily at my college, not at my school, but was one of the first American students to show up. I think this should be on Unsolved Mysteries. That's why I think it's a very poignant story, because she gets off the plane, her baggage. So when you get off the plane and you're a study abroad student, you are a part of this collective. When you meet at the airport in America, let's say LAX, you join a group of students that you're going to live the next year with. And for me, those times of traveling were the times where I at least indulge in the last moments of my autonomy. Because for the next year, we all are going to be sharing the same space. We're going to be going on the same trips, the same places, in the same classes, eating the same meals at the same time, everything together, and we have no idea who each other are. So, but you notice, you take in, it's part of the experience. Who am I going to be living with? And so these kids witnessed this girl with them at the airport, flying on the plane, getting off the plane, and boarding the bus with them. At some point, maybe they didn't witness boarding the bus, but at some point in disembarking the plane, grabbing luggage, and boarding the charter bus to the facilities in Italy, in that city, she goes missing. Her baggage shows up. The baggage shows up because what happens is you could be flying, you could be traveling for a good 24 hours, 18 hours. Back then, I can't even imagine. I mean, I got over from LAX to Germany, Zurich, in 12 hours. So that was like 1985, maybe. I can't imagine how much longer it might have taken. Or maybe it was shorter. Who cares? Regardless, her luggage shows up, but she's not there to carry it inside the house. She's not there to carry it inside the facility. She is not there to claim her luggage. And yet, her luggage made it on the charter bus. She didn't. Maybe she did and got off and this happened and she disappeared. Regardless, the girl vanished. Never to be heard from, never to be seen again. Her parents, stricken with grief, and God bless them, and thank you for your endowment, because you provided one of the most influential classrooms that I have ever studied in. I know that classroom very, very well. Yeah, I can go on about that on another episode. But they dedicated this classroom because these parents, the Leaks, donated money to our program and got that insignia on that classroom. So it's the Leak classroom. And you got a class in the Leak classroom, that's a 60, 70, 80 person room. That's a big lecture hall. And it's underneath the whole hotel. And that's where we would have class meetings. We would have like church, chapel, and sing songs and stuff. Like I was praise and worship leader a lot of the time. And as much as my memory, like, I have to think back on that. Like, I used to lead praise and worship. And I tend to doubt myself on my singing skills or my talent and my vocation. But no, I was set on this earth to sing, to speak, to carry messages, and even if I didn't write them, to reciprocate them and embellish them, and to implore an audience to see it maybe in another way, or to see it in the same way the artist wrote it. But if I render it, that's my translation of it. And believe me, a lot of this I have not thought about. I am like splurting out, I'm gushing who I am or whatever, but this is not premeditated. Like, it's not like I'm training my voice to sound like this or trying to put on some persona. I actually have to go away once I record this, once I post it, step away and let go of it. And that can be the hardest part for a lot of people. I think that's why a lot of people don't put themselves in the public sphere and don't put themselves out there like that. And maybe that is why it's considered a talent, because it's a rarity to be able to sleep at night after you've bled in front of people. It's a very vulnerable place. And so, regardless of that vulnerability, it comes with a lot of confidence. And you'll notice people that are in the industry, actors, talent, there's confidence, there's this air, there's this aura that nothing is going to shake. You could set the thermostat on 75 and they come in at 69 and the whole room shifts to 69 because they're there. Like, that's the type of stuff I'm on. And if you haven't felt that before, then you ain't never been here. I mean, if you've lived in LA and felt that, then I hope you hone in on that, because I did. And it almost cost me my life. That's what the next book is about. Stay tuned, y'all. So, I get home 1:30 a.m., Florence, Italy. My room is overlooking a street that has a canal, a sewage run, a brook, a little river running in between the northbound, southbound traffic lanes. 2 on one side, 2 on another. But it's actually a little walking part. It's like a little mini Central Park in the middle of like 4 or 5 blocks, straight shot. And I'm looking down there, but there's a girl, there's a woman, not a girl, a woman looking back at me. Now, I know she's white because of the way her hair is blowing in the wind. I know she's wearing blue jeans, and they were like bell bottom almost. They're not like huge bell bottoms, but they're flared. She's wearing flared jeans. Leather jacket. I something in me just always remember leather jacket. And no face. But I know she's looking at me. And so I'm like changing, and I'm like kind of like double checking, because regardless of the fact that I'm in the building, from on my balcony or like out my window. There was no balcony really. It was just a window with a couple of bars, so you didn't fall to the street. She's less than 50 yards away. She has to be 50 to 75 yards away, like diagonally. And I'm 2 stories up. I'm on the 2nd story, but this is an old building, so the ceilings are vaulted. I'm almost like 2 stories, 3 stories high. And I'm looking at this girl looking at me, and I saw my roommate, he heard me come in, and so I know he's awake, and I rile him up, and I'm like, yo, like, can you come look at this? Are you seeing what I'm seeing? Because if I'm tripping, tell me I'm tripping. Was not tripping. Like, he stood shoulder to shoulder with me, and we both were like waving at her, trying to get her attention. We couldn't yell, we couldn't say anything because I'd come home late. And I'm living with 60 other people. So it's not like I'm going to be like screaming at the top of my lungs. This isn't like I'm living at my own place out my window. Like, what are you doing? Why are you looking up here? And it wasn't anything threatening. It was not. And he didn't feel threatened at all either. It was more so I don't know if we were wondering if she was okay. But just out of everything, we could not see her face. But she was there. And he finally gave up. I mean, after like 2 minutes. And he goes to lay down, and I take off my shirt, take off my pants, like put on my pajama pants, put on my pajama shirt. I look out there, so it couldn't have been even a minute. She's gone. Totally gone. Like, no one on the street. And where she was at, you would have had to walk a block either way and go upstairs, and we could see 3 blocks over each way. We had the leverage on that viewpoint. So he witnessed that with me. We never talked about it. We didn't talk, I don't know, not too much, not in depth. He was a very rational guy. He is a very rational guy, and I love him. He's one of the reasons I keep doing this podcast, because he told me to. And I trust him. So shout out to you. GP. I'll give your initials. So that was the first time I saw a ghost. It wasn't anything like in my face, but it was apparent. It was real. I wasn't scared because it was happening. Why would I be scared of what's happening when it's reality? Going beyond that, I think the next time someone else was with me when we're talking about like witnesses and me not being alone, and she's going to come on the show. She was my old roommate in Hollywood. When I literally lived at the intersection of Toluca Lake, Burbank, and North Hollywood. Like, I could name any one of those cities and still get my mail if I wrote that on my address. Like, that's exactly where I was. Like, Magnolia and something. Like, Magnolia Boulevard and, like, Lankershim. Like, I know LA. I know the ins and outs. Like, and it was crazy because we were talking about a ghost that was in the apartment that she was familiar with. She was friendly with her, like kind of protected her. She had said that it didn't like her little boyfriends. Well, while we're speaking, I was sitting on the couch. I had my drink on the coffee table or a side table, and the drink slides across the table and falls off right in front of both of us, and she saw it. So hold me to this. When we interview her, we've got to bring this up. We've got to ask her, like, if she remembers that. Because I want to know more about the man in white. That's what he was dubbed, the man in white. And you'll hear about more of him in my next book, which I'm wrapping up. I'm very excited, but it's very emotional. It's very emotional, so I have to be mindful of that. You okay? I love this. I absolutely love this. Talking about what has been sensitive to me, what's been real. It's not ironic, and I know I'm not crazy because I have the evidence to prove it. Well, when I was still in Italy, I remember it had to be right when we returned to spring semester. So it was still winter. It was probably late January, early February. And I'm sitting in the lobby, and it's close to the student center, and there's a computer there. And it's a standing desk, but it has a very high stool. I'm sitting on the stool. And in the corner of this lofted ceiling is a monitor. What is that? What's wrong? What's wrong? What was that? You and me trying to light? You okay? No. So I'm just pissed off my dog. I don't like that. Anyway. It's alright, buddy. Siedi. Bravo. I got my back to the door, and I was, I don't know, thinking, checking my email or something, maybe doing some homework. Right at the computer at the front of the whole building. But, boom, boom, boom. 3 knocks. And I look up at the security camera because it was in the weekday. It was a weekday, first of all, so we weren't expecting anybody. If we were expecting students that were from another program, maybe Switzerland or Germany, even London, they would have had the security code to get in. And so for somebody to knock during the weekday, it's like, yo, you must be a guest, or like, I don't know. I had no idea, but when I looked up in the monitor on the screen, there was nobody outside. There was nobody at the door. And I have danced and been in that monitor many days, like right before curfew ended at like 1:58 a.m., just flicking off the camera because we had a 2 a.m. curfew and I had to leave an Italian party or the VIP section of a club or some crazy situation. But thank God for that rule, because it saved my life. It absolutely saved my life. I did not see anyone in that camera, in that monitor, and so I was like, let me go check. Well, that probably might have not have been the best decision, or maybe the best decision I ever made, because here I am talking about it. I opened up the door, and there was this cool rush of air, like cool wind, like just this crisp kind of Chicago style. If you ever been in Chicago or flown in Chicago O'Hare, and you step outside the terminal and it's the first time you've actually like tasted and felt 0-degree weather, that's what it was like. Like, it took my breath away. Like, I was hollow. And I looked down the street to the left, and then when you look down the street to the left, there's about 2 or 3 blocks. About 3 blocks. Yeah, I can imagine in my mind. I know what each block has. I can walk the city of Florence in my head. I dream it. I dream at night of walking that city because I know it so well. So 3 blocks, no one. On either side of the road, either side of that crevasse where the park is lowered in the middle of the street, this 2-lane highway, which makes it as wide as a 6-lane highway, because of this little walking area that's depressed, that's lowered in between oncoming traffic, southbound, northbound. And I'm looking at the Fortezza, the fortress. If you know what the Fortezza is in Firenze, Fortezza, Florence, like, look that up. I live down the street from there. There's no one. Not a soul in sight. Not even a soul. Not just no one. No car. Nothing modern. Just these buildings that we've been living in. I look to... So that was my left. I will say that was my left. I look to my right. And to my right, usually up the street, another 3 blocks. That's where the street kind of turns and curves. There's a laundromat. And the laundromat was totally empty. And I don't really know if I'm placing a sign there because of my memory or if the sign was there. But it did not feel like I was in the time of that place where I had arrived. So what I mean by that is, when I opened that door after hearing the 3 knocks, it didn't appear to be the same Florence that I had arrived in. And not to say that it changed, more like it regressed. More like I was in another time period of it. And no one, no cars, nothing. That's 3 to the left, 3 to the right, blocks, no one. Nothing. Not a car, not a person. It was like a whole nother time place. It's like I walked into a vortex or a portal. And I hate to put those words on it because they come with so much stigma, but it's true. Why would I be at the desk and hear 3 knocks, turn around, open the door, no one's there. Not only is no one there, no one's on the street, no cars, nothing. And it was just this very cold, crisp feeling. It's not like I felt sad or dead or anything like that. It was cold. It was just this dry coldness. So I'm back working at this seafood restaurant in Malibu about a year and a half later. And one of the guys I actually lived there with, it's his birthday, and we went to college together. And so usually I'm taking orders, and it was a very humbling job because I work at a fish shack and I'm a cashier. And it's like, dude, you're going to this little preppy school, you're going to this great college, like, why are you working at a fish shack? Because that's all I know. And you don't have the bills that I have. Your parents pay your bills. Why would you work at a fish shack? Because the people that work at fish shacks are actually good people. If a person can work at a fish shack, they probably have more character and values and morale. It's not even that, it's the resilience. And I know that fish embodies like iodine and all these oils. I think that's a spiritual replication in that, in serving it. And so I believed in the product that we served. I wanted, the God I follow says, be fishers of men. And I got to sell fish from a fresh seafood market. And I mean, all types of fish, like seasonal stuff, like, so good. And just not even like, we deep fried cod, of course. But I can go on a food tangent all day. Regardless of that, a buddy of mine, okay, so I'm living in that small room in Florence. There's 3 other rooms on that floor, and it's a half floor. It's the second story of the building that looks out to the front street. And our rooms are infamous for being the smallest in the house. Well, let's say room number 1, 2. I was room number 2. Then you got 3 and 4. So room number 1, that guy, it was his birthday, so he was in Florence. I live in room number 2. Love the guys in room number 3, and no, I love the guys in room number 4. Fucking die for the motherfuckers in room number 3. You know what I mean? Like, so room number 1, that dude, he's doing so well, and I'm so glad. Like, we're still friends to this day. Like, we were just texting, and he's married and just living life, and I'm very, very happy for him. I'm not gonna say his name, but he doesn't need me to say his name because he's doing so well. And there was a moment in our relationship where we weren't doing well, and we hashed it out. And I can't say like men, because it wasn't like men. It was like humans. And I would much rather be considered a human than a man. Understood? All right. In a circle in this big ass master bedroom. It's near Halloween. I'm driving down Mulholland Highway. I ride a scooter, a Vespa, 250 Piaggio. And I make it down there to this mansion. Can't really see the driveway, but it's near an intersection. My buddies told me to come over after working. They came through the restaurant. I had a couple of shots of Jägermeister. with them and ended up going over to the after party. Well, which was really the birthday party. It wound up all of us close friends, shared many experiences together throughout college, sitting on our stomachs, lying in a circle in this big ass master bedroom, just passing joint after joint, blunt after blunt, bottle after bottle, and I had to go pee or something. Or maybe I needed a chaser and to go get a beer. So I was going down to the kitchen. I went down to the kitchen, down these Fresh Prince of Bel-Air stairs, like grand staircase, open foyer, and I'm going back up them, and I hear 3 knocks at the door. I look back, and there's someone at the door. He's wearing black. Looks like a white guy with black hair, dark hair. And he's standing sideways with tapping his forearm and wrist, knuckles up against the door, knocking. Natural. And I say, hey, there's somebody at the door. But everyone was in the master bedroom chilling, where I was going back to. So no one responded, and I moseyed down those stairs, and I remember standing in front of that door, and I remember yelling back, and I'm like, hey, I'm going to open up this door. I'm going to find out who this is. Something like that. And I saw this guy standing right on the other side of the glass, this frost pane of this door, and I opened the door. No one's there. And there's a porch, there's a sidewalk, there's a driveway with cars parked in it. No one. Just gone. I mean, even if you could run, I looked below, all around me, and he was gone. And that was the second time 3 knocks at the door proved to be no one. Well, the third time this happened, well, let's say things went a little bit different. And that happened this year in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. I just got off the freeway, outran a tornado, which was dropping out of the sky as I was driving. And it did not get us. And then neither did the rain. I was literally outrunning the storm. Like, some people were willing to drive slow enough to where, okay, we know, like, maybe Oklahomans know the tornado is not going to get us. Like, we're okay. We're fine. I didn't know that, because I'm just driving through. And the last thing, that was like number 1 on the bucket list. Do not get caught in a tornado in Oklahoma, in Tornado Alley. I hate tornadoes. I absolutely hate them. Like, I've been through them, and I do not like them. So, well, I haven't been through them, but I've been near, like, I've been in the point where the sirens are going off and you're running to your basement, and it's just not a pretty sight. Like, human nature is not that pretty. In any case, I stopped at a hotel there, a motel. I'm definitely a motel. It was a Motel 6, and for me not to be at a Motel 6 getting straight up twisted and nasty with some strangers is very rare. But I was on a mission, and I was, that's the good part about, like, when you're not drinking constantly, or, like, doing stupid stuff, smoking weed constantly. You can drive across the country and actually take in the scenery, take in the city. But doing it on your own and with your dog, every step of the way, I just want to make sure, like, we're okay. And to the point where, like, we're okay to where there's a trace of us. Like, just parking at a rest stop, there's not that many traces of a person. Now, parking at a motel, you might have got for $30 that night on Hotels.com or something like that, Expedia, Travel something, I don't know, Travelocity. if that still exists. But regardless, I'm not the type of person. I'm not going to drive across the country without having a how do you say, like a record, like a receipt tape or a paper trail. Excuse me. Sorry. There's a lot going on. There's like stuff going on outside, the stuff going on inside. I'm just trying to do my podcast. Like, I'm just trying to be me. So here we are. And thank you for bearing with me. But I got to OKC. We got this shady ass room. And I mean, I forgive a lot of stuff right when I walk in a hotel room. And especially like when you get it while you're driving and you're like, oh, that looks like a good deal. $100 a night. $100 a night. Not $79, not $89, $100. There was literally blood on the walls. There were roaches. The floor was so warped from water damage, or maybe it was from blood pooling from a body. I have no idea. Like, I sprayed that place down because we were in the middle of COVID. The guy that checked me in was not wearing a mask. He was coughing, hacking. It was terrible. It was terrible. So I wasn't even there an hour and a half. Not even an hour and a half. I'm on the phone, I think, with my grandmother or my aunt. Just being girls. Like, hey, girl, yes, blah, 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 blah. All I hear, 3 knocks at the door. My dog is with me. Now I have a dog. Here we are almost 6 years later since the last incident. Now there's a dog with me, and my dog is going off. Like, he's, like, he's a pit bull. Like, come on. That's what I got him for. You know what I mean? But never in my life. I have spent many a days in cheap hotels. Even someone I was anticipating to arrive never knocked at my door like that. I look out after about, because I was trying to calm down my dog, but at the same time I'm absorbing the situation. It probably wasn't the best idea to look in the peephole, because that's how you got if they're not going to break in. I look out the peephole and no one's there. No one's there. It's an empty crevasse of the balcony that I walked up on. The front. And I'm like, so I call the front desk and tell them somebody's knocking on my door, and they're like, oh no, that's unacceptable. So clearly I'm in a dangerous place. If the front desk says that's unacceptable, rather than what? Huh? It's like, oh no, these intruders are getting brazen. I was fearing for my life. I have since received a refund for that night at that motel, but clearly the trauma of it remains. I guess I'm just not realizing that, expressing that on this show. Because it did. I mean, that was really scary. It was scary to stay there because I feared for my life. Yeah. So anyway, I don't fear for my life when it comes to like this spooky ooky stuff that some people can't handle or just don't even think about because it's too far out there. How would you say? But it's not too far out there for me because it happens. And I love that because when it happens, I'm not scared. When I tell a story, that's scary. Those stories are scary. But when it's happening, it's real. And sometimes we're not that scared when it's real. So, I'm here to talk about Freaky Friday. It was Freaky Friday 2019, December, Friday, 12/13/19. I lived in California at that time. Pacific Coast Time. PCT. What happened going into that night will certainly, it will live in infamy.
Well, friends, there you have it. The bonus episode for the year 2020.
of one of our favorite series on this podcast, Str8 Shk. I want to thank you for tuning in, listening to me divulge some of the creepy, supernatural, paranormal encounters I've had over this last 365 days. I gotta tell you, there are some big things on the horizon, and I never would have thought, I never would have guessed that these things would come through. But you stay steadfast, you keep on going, and you keep the faith, no matter what ghouls, demons, or ghosts try to divert you from your path. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you'd like to reach me, hit me up. I'm at EarthMusic at outlook.com. You can also hit up my website, erhunter.live. That's erhunter.live. And if you'd like to support the cause, extra resources that help Earth, that's going to be at patreon.com/erhunter. Once again, patreon.com/erhunter. I know these are trying times for most of us, and I don't really feel very Christmassy right now with the way things are going. And it's okay to not be okay. But let's not be okay together. All right, that's it for the rhetorical sake. I'll holla at y'all later. Peace.